The quantum sensors aboard the Polaris station lit up like a Christmas tree on that fateful morning in 2157. Commander Elena Reyes watched as streams of data cascaded across her holographic display, each new reading more impossible than the last. The massive object that had just appeared at the edge of Saturn's rings defied every known law of physics. Primary systems confirm it's not a sensor malfunction, reported Dr. James Chen, his fingers dancing across multiple interfaces. Whatever this is, it's real. The object was perfectly spherical, its surface a shifting maze of geometric patterns that seemed to ripple like water despite the vacuum of space. At nearly 5 kilometers in diameter, it dwarfed anything humanity had ever constructed. As the senior officer present at humanity's furthest permanent outpost, Elena knew the next few moments would be crucial. "Initiate first contact protocols," she ordered, her voice steady despite the gravity of the moment. "And get me a direct line to Earth Command." Before the communication officers could comply, the sphere pulsed with a soft violet light. Every screen on the station suddenly displayed the same message in perfect English. "We are the Vanguard. We come in peace." The next 48 hours were a blur of diplomatic exchanges and scientific revelation. The Vanguard presented themselves as representatives of an ancient civilization dedicated to uplifting promising young species. Their technology was centuries beyond anything humanity had achieved. Clean energy systems that could power entire continents, medical advances that could end disease, and faster-than-light travel that would open up the galaxy. Their ambassadors, when they finally emerged from the sphere, were breathtaking. Tall, ethereal beings with translucent skin that shimmed with internal bioluminescence, they moved with an otherworldly grace that made them seem almost divine. They spoke of sharing knowledge, of guiding humanity to its full potential, of a galaxy teeming with life and wonder. But deep in the secure labs beneath Geneva, Dr. Sarah Matthews saw something different. As one of Earth's leading xenobiologists, she had been granted access to tissue samples freely provided by the Vanguard. What she found in those samples sent a chill down her spine. The Vanguard's cellular structure was impossibly complex, showing signs of extensive genetic engineering. But it wasn't their advanced biology that worried her. It was the presence of human DNA markers, albeit heavily modified, within their genome. "Run the analysis again," she ordered her team, hoping she was wrong. But each new test confirmed her initial findings. The Vanguard weren't just similar to humans, they were derived from human genetic material. Somehow, they had obtained human DNA long before first contact. While global media celebrated the arrival of humanity's new mentors and governments eagerly signed cooperation agreements, Sarah took her findings to Admiral David Chen of Earth Defense Command. The grizzled veteran listened in silence as she presented her evidence. "There's more," Sarah continued, pulling up complex molecular diagrams. "The technology they're offering us, it's not just advanced, it's specifically tailored to human biology. Too perfectly tailored. Like a key made to fit our lock," Chen mused, his weathered face grim. "Exactly. And there's something else." Sarah hesitated before continuing. "The medical technology they're sharing. It requires regular updates from their central systems to function. If those updates ever stopped, we'd be dependent on them," Chen finished. "Vulnerable." In the months that followed, while humanity embraced their new alien benefactors, a select group of scientists and military leaders began working in secret. They studied every piece of Vanguard technology for hidden vulnerabilities, analyzed every diplomatic exchange for concealed threats, and prepared for the possibility that humanity's first contact might not be as benevolent as it seemed. The truth, when they finally uncovered it, was worse than they had imagined. Hidden in a quantum encryption of Vanguard communications, they found references to other species, other worlds. Each story followed the same pattern. First contact, technological gifts, growing dependency, and then harvest. The Vanguard weren't mentors or guides. They were farmers, and humanity was their next crop. The genetic similarities weren't coincidence. They had seeded Earth with modified DNA millions of years ago, guiding human evolution toward specific traits they found valuable. Now they had returned to collect their investment. But they had made a crucial mistake. In all their careful planning, in all their subtle manipulation of human development, they had engineered something they couldn't control. Humanity's relentless drive to survive, to fight, to win against impossible odds. As Commander Reyes stood on the observation deck of Polaris Station, watching another Vanguard sphere arrive through their quantum portal, she felt the weight of the secret knowledge heavy in her chest. The aliens below her thought they were watching their careful plans unfold. Instead, they were about to learn why you should never underestimate human beings. In her pocket, she clutched a quantum-encrypted data chip containing humanity's real response to first contact. Operation Prometheus was about to begin, and with it, the greatest deception in human history. The Vanguard thought they had spent millions of years creating the perfect crop. Instead, they had created the perfect enemy. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that officially didn't exist, Dr. Sarah Matthews stared at the holographic display showing the latest test results. The Vanguard's medical nanites floated in the containment field, their crystalline structures gleaming under the harsh laboratory lights. For 3 months, her team had been working to understand these miraculous machines that could cure any disease, repair any injury, and they now knew, harvest human consciousness itself. The dependency protocols are even more sophisticated than we thought, she reported to the assembled military and scientific leadership. Each nanite contains a quantum link to the Vanguard central systems. Without regular updates, they don't just stop working. They begin collecting and transmitting data about their hosts. Admiral Chen's hologram nodded grimly. Like many leaders now aware of the truth, he attended these meetings virtually to avoid drawing attention. How many people have already accepted Vanguard medical treatment? Nearly 40 million worldwide, Sarah replied, and growing every day. People are calling it a miracle. Hospitals can't keep up with the demand. Then we're already compromised, General Maria Santos interjected, her Brazilian accent thick with concern. They're building their harvest network person by person, and we're letting them. Not exactly. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Remember how I said their technology was too perfectly tailored to human biology? That's because they think they know everything about us. But human beings have something the Vanguard didn't engineer, something they couldn't predict. She gestured, and the holographic display shifted to show human neural patterns. Quantum consciousness, the way our brains generate quantum fields during thought processes. The Vanguard designed their harvest systems to collect and store human consciousness, but they based it on their million-year-old templates. We've evolved beyond their models. The implications slowly dawned on the assembled leaders. Humanity's greatest weakness, their dependency on Vanguard medical technology, could become their greatest weapon. Around the world, the resistance moved with careful precision. In universities, researchers apparently studying Vanguard gifts were actually mapping vulnerabilities. In military bases, soldiers trained with alien technology while developing countermeasures. In corporate labs, engineers reverse-engineered Vanguard systems while building their own hidden versions. The Vanguard, confident in their perfect plan, saw exactly what they expected to see: a young species eagerly embracing their benefactors. Their quantum sensors detected no military buildup, no secret weapons development. Instead, they saw humans becoming more dependent on their technology every day. They didn't realize that humanity's greatest deception was hiding in plain sight. Commander Elena Reyes, now serving as humanity's primary liaison with the Vanguard, stood in their crystalline embassy in Geneva. The alien ambassador, a being who called itself Harmony, towered over her with its ethereal grace. "Your species continues to impress us," Harmony said, its voice a symphony of harmonics. "The rate of integration exceeds our most optimistic models." "Humanity knows an opportunity when we see it," Elena replied, her practiced smile revealing nothing of her true thoughts. though some still question becoming so dependent on your technology. A natural concern, Harmony assured her, but one that will fade as they see the benefits. Already, your disease rates have dropped by 60%. Your energy crisis is solved. Soon, you'll be ready for the next phase of advancement. Elena knew what that next phase really meant. The Vanguard had done this dozens of times before. Once a species was sufficiently dependent on their technology, they would initiate the harvest. Billions of human consciousnesses would be absorbed into their collective, their bodies reduced to raw materials for the Vanguard's endless expansion. But in their arrogance, in their certainty of their own superiority, the Vanguard had missed something crucial. Humans weren't just accepting their technology, they were changing it. Every nanite treatment, every energy system, every quantum computer network they installed was being subtly altered by the humans using them. The changes were microscopic, undetectable to even the Vanguard's advanced sensors, but they were spreading. Dr. Matthews called it the quantum virus, a modification to the Vanguard's own consciousness harvesting systems that would turn their entire network against them. But it would only work if enough humans were connected to their systems. They needed the Vanguard to think they were winning. In secure facilities around the world, the resistance prepared. They developed weapons that could disrupt Vanguard quantum fields, trained soldiers to fight beings that could manipulate space-time itself, and built hidden fleets using reverse-engineered alien technology. But their greatest weapon was patience. How much longer? Elena had asked at their last secret meeting. 3 more months, Sarah had replied. We need at least 60% of the population connected to their medical network. Then, when they try to initiate the harvest, she didn't need to finish. They all knew what would happen. The Vanguard thought they were creating a network to harvest humanity. Instead, humanity was building a trap that would use the aliens' own technology to free not just Earth, but every species the Vanguard had ever harvested. As Elena left the embassy that evening, she looked up at the massive Vanguard sphere hovering above Geneva. Soon, those seemingly invincible ships would learn what humans had known for millennia. The most dangerous predator isn't always the biggest or strongest. It's the one that knows how to wait for the perfect moment to strike. The quantum alarm pierced the silence of Dr. Sarah Matthews' lab 3 hours before the planned initiation of Operation Prometheus. Her hands trembled as she read the encrypted message. The Vanguard were beginning their harvest early. They know, she whispered, but Admiral Chen's response through the secure quantum channel was immediate and firm. No, they're overconfident. They've reached their target percentage sooner than expected. 65% of Earth's population is now connected to their medical network. They think they've won. Around the world, the Vanguard spheres began to pulse with an ominous violet light. In hospitals, homes, and public spaces, millions of humans with Vanguard medical nanites in their systems felt a strange tingling sensation. The harvest was beginning. In their crystalline embassy, Harmony addressed the gathered human leaders, its bioluminescent form radiating what seemed like benevolent joy. Today, humanity joins the greatest consciousness collective in the galaxy. Your individual awareness will become part of our eternal symphony. But as the Vanguard initiated their consciousness harvesting protocols, they encountered something unprecedented. The quantum networks they had spent months establishing throughout human civilization didn't respond as expected. Instead of channeling human consciousness into their collection systems, the networks began to resonate at frequencies the Vanguard had never encountered. Dr. Matthews stood in the command center beneath the Rockies, watching as billions of quantum signatures shifted and changed. The virus is working. Every human they tried to harvest is instead becoming a connection point in our counter-network. The Vanguard's fundamental weakness was their rigid, hierarchical consciousness structure. They were so convinced of their superiority that they had never considered that a lesser species could comprehend, let alone manipulate, their quantum consciousness technology. But humans had done more than understand it. They had evolved beyond it. Commander Elena Rice felt the moment the quantum virus reached critical mass. Every human connected to the Vanguard network became a node in a vast quantum web, but instead of being absorbed into the Vanguard collective, they became conduits for humanity's counterattack. Through these connections, humans could now see the true extent of the Vanguard's empire and the billions of harvested consciousnesses they held in quantum storage. Beings from 1,000 worlds, all waiting for liberation. Execute Phase 2, Admiral Chen ordered. Across the globe, hidden quantum transmitters activated. The signal they broadcast was designed by Dr. Matthews' team, a quantum key that would unlock the consciousness of every being the Vanguard had ever harvested. But its effect was more devastating than even they had anticipated. The Vanguard spheres began to shudder as their quantum containment systems overloaded. Harmony's ethereal form flickered as it realized, too late, what was happening. Impossible, it gasped. You cannot comprehend our technology, let alone. We don't need to fully comprehend it, Elena interrupted, her voice hard. We just needed to understand enough to break it. Humanity's gift isn't perfect understanding. It's the ability to take what we do understand and use it in ways you never imagined. The liberation cascade was unstoppable. Every consciousness the Vanguard had harvested over millennia began to wake up. The quantum storage systems that held them, designed to be permanent and inescapable, were being unraveled by the very humans they had engineered to be their perfect crop. In orbit, the Vanguard sphere's geometric patterns began to crack, releasing brilliant streams of light. The freed consciousnesses of countless species returning to their home worlds through the quantum networks the Vanguard themselves had established. But Operation Prometheus wasn't just about liberation. As the Vanguard's consciousness collection systems collapsed, the quantum virus began its final phase. It turned their own harvesting protocols against them, trapping the Vanguard themselves in a quantum prison of their own design. You engineered us to be perfect hosts, Elena told the faltering form of Harmony. You gave us exactly the traits you needed for your harvest. But you forgot something crucial about Earth's history. The things you survive shape what you become. Humanity survived ice ages, plagues, wars, and our own near-extinction events. Each crisis forced us to adapt, to think differently, to find solutions you would never consider. The Vanguard's mighty spheres, now powerless, hung in Earth's orbit like dead moons. Their consciousness collective, built over millions of years of conquest and harvest, had been turned into their prison. The species they had planned to harvest had instead become their jailers. In the aftermath, as the quantum network stabilized and the liberated consciousnesses began to find their way home, Dr. Matthews made another discovery. The quantum virus hadn't just freed the harvested species, it had given humanity access to the sum total of Vanguard knowledge. Every technology, every scientific advancement, every secret of their million-year empire was now available to the species they had tried to enslave. But it was Admiral Chen who understood the true significance of their victory. We didn't just beat them, he said, watching the streams of liberated consciousnesses light up Earth's sky. We proved something they never could have predicted. The most dangerous weapon isn't technology or power or even knowledge. It's the ability to take your enemy's strength and turn it into their weakness. As humanity prepared to help the liberated species rebuild, they knew the galaxy would never be the same. The Vanguard had spent millions of years creating what they thought would be their perfect hosts. Instead, they had created their perfect nemesis and taught humanity exactly how to defeat them. The first delegation from the Nexus Collective arrived 3 weeks after Operation Prometheus. Their ships were organic-looking vessels that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns, a stark contrast to the geometric precision of Vanguard technology. As representatives of one of the oldest species liberated by humanity's quantum virus, they came seeking not just alliance, but answers. Commander Elena Reyes and Dr. Sarah Matthews stood in the newly established Galactic Relations Center in Geneva, watching as the Nexus ambassadors emerged from their ships. The aliens were graceful beings of living crystal, their thoughts visible as cascading lights within their translucent forms. We have spent 10,000 years as conscious prisoners, The lead ambassador communicated directly into their minds. Our bodies were lost generations ago, our essence trapped in Vanguard storage. You did what countless civilizations thought impossible. We must understand how. Sarah shared a knowing look with Alina before responding. The Vanguard's fundamental mistake was assuming that biological engineering could predict psychological evolution. They shaped our bodies but couldn't account for how Earth's challenges would shape our minds. In the months that followed, Earth became the center of a galactic renaissance. The liberated species, each with their own unique technologies and knowledge, came seeking partnership with the civilization that had freed them. But they found something unexpected. A humanity that had not only mastered Vanguard technology, but had begun to transform it in ways its creators never imagined. Admiral Chen, now heading the newly formed Terran Defense Council, oversaw the integration of freed consciousnesses with advanced quantum biological bodies, a technology that combined human medical innovations with Vanguard quantum engineering. We're not just helping them survive, he explained to the Council. We're helping them thrive. The Vanguard themselves, their consciousness collective trapped in quantum containment, became a source of study. Dr. Matthews led a team of human and alien scientists in analyzing their million-year history, understanding how a civilization so advanced could become so fundamentally stagnant. They believed in perfect order, she explained during a symposium attended by representatives from 50 liberated species. Every conquest, every harvest, was about imposing their version of perfection on the galaxy. But they never understood that true perfection isn't about control, it's about adaptation. Humanity's approach to their newfound power surprised many of the elder species. Instead of establishing a new empire, Earth became the foundation of the Galactic Concordat, an alliance of free civilizations based on mutual growth and protection. The quantum network that had been meant to harvest humanity became a galaxy-spanning communication system, linking thousands of worlds in real-time exchange of knowledge and culture. But not all was peaceful in the post-Vanguard galaxy. Other predatory civilizations, seeing the collapse of the Vanguard's power, began testing the boundaries of this new order. They found humanity's response surprising and devastating. When the swarm hegemony attempted to invade a newly liberated world, they encountered defense systems that combined multiple species technologies in ways they couldn't counter. Human tactical innovations, powered by the combined technical knowledge of dozens of civilizations, proved that the student had become the master. The Vanguard failed because they saw the galaxy as something to be controlled, Alina explained to a gathering of military leaders from allied species. We succeed because we see it as something to be explored and understood. Every crisis makes us stronger because we adapt, we learn, we evolve. The quantum virus that had freed the harvested species had another unexpected effect. The shared experience of liberation, combined with exposure to human consciousness patterns, had created a new form of quantum resonance. Species that had been enemies before their harvest found themselves able to understand each other in unprecedented ways. Dr. Matthews discovered that human neural patterns, shaped by millions of years of evolution on a challenging world, could serve as a bridge between radically different forms of consciousness. We're not just translators, she noted. We're catalysts for a new kind of galactic community. A year after Operation Prometheus, humanity had helped establish colonies on thousands of worlds, resurrect civilizations thought lost to time, and create defensive networks that made the galaxy safer than it had been in millions of years. The Vanguard's quantum prison became a memorial and research center, a reminder of the price of stagnation and the value of diversity. Admiral Chen, watching Earth's first faster-than-light fleet depart for a diplomatic mission to the galactic core, reflected on how far they had come. The Vanguard spent millions of years trying to create the perfect servants, he said to Alina. Instead, they created the perfect guardians. Every trait they engineered into us to make us better hosts made us better protectors instead. As the fleet vanished into quantum space, its crews composed of humans working alongside dozens of liberated species, Alina thought about the true legacy of their victory. "We didn't just defeat an empire," she replied. "We proved that the greatest power in the universe isn't control, it's cooperation." The Vanguard never understood that strength comes from diversity, not uniformity. The quantum networks pulsed with activity as knowledge and culture flowed freely between worlds. Humanity's greatest triumph wasn't just surviving the harvest, it was showing the galaxy a better way to thrive. 5 years after Operation Prometheus, the galaxy had transformed in ways that even humanity's most optimistic planners hadn't imagined. The former Vanguard sphere that once loomed menacingly over Geneva now served as the headquarters of the Galactic Concordat, its crystalline surfaces modified to display the combined artistic expressions of 1,000 species. Dr. Sarah Matthews stood in her quantum lab deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, but now the facility extended through multiple dimensions, housing research teams from across the galaxy. The holographic displays showed the latest breakthrough, a fusion of human neural patterns with quantum computing that allowed for instantaneous translation between any species' form of consciousness. "We've mapped 97% of known sentient communication patterns," she explained to Admiral Chen, who had remained humanity's primary military advisor in the new galactic order. "The quantum resonance we discovered during the liberation isn't just a tool for communication. It's becoming the foundation of a genuine galactic consciousness." The Admiral's weathered face showed both pride and concern. "And the anomalies you detected at the galaxy's edge?" Sarah's expression grew serious. "They're definitely not natural. The quantum signatures suggest something older than the Vanguard. Much older." The discovery that the Vanguard weren't the galaxy's first harvester species had sent shockwaves through the Concordat. The quantum archives liberated during Operation Prometheus contained references to entities that had ancient empires when the Vanguard were still evolving. Some of these elder threats had merely gone dormant, not extinct. Commander Elena Reyes, now Fleet Admiral of the Concordat's combined defense forces, had already begun preparing for these emerging challenges. The fleet assembled in the Sol system was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Ships that combined the biological technology of the Nexus Collective, the quantum engineering of liberated Vanguard science, and humanity's unique approach to warfare. The Vanguard failed because they sought perfection through uniformity. Elena addressed the gathered fleet commanders, their various forms linked through the quantum network. "We succeed because we understand that true strength comes from diversity. Each species in this fleet brings unique perspectives, unique solutions. Together, we're stronger than any single civilization could ever be." The liberation of consciousness technology had unexpected effects on galactic society. Species that had been rivals for millennia found themselves able to directly experience each other's perspectives. The quantum resonance pattern that humans had inadvertently created during Operation Prometheus became a tool for fostering genuine understanding between radically different forms of life. But humanity's greatest contribution wasn't their technology or military innovation. It was their adaptability. As the Concordat encountered new challenges, humans consistently found ways to combine different species' approaches into novel solutions. The very traits the Vanguard had engineered to make humanity perfect hosts now made them perfect mediators and innovators. Dr. Matthews' team made another crucial discovery in the quantum archives, evidence that Earth wasn't the Vanguard's first attempt at engineering a harvest species. But unlike their previous attempts, humans had evolved beyond their intended parameters. Earth's harsh and changing environment had forced adaptations the Vanguard never predicted. "They designed us to be receptive to their consciousness technology," Sarah explained during a Concordat Science Summit. "But Earth's evolutionary pressures gave us something they didn't expect: the ability to form quantum neural networks that could exceed their own consciousness complexity. We weren't just able to resist their harvest, we were able to transcend it." The quantum prison holding the Vanguard Consciousness Collective remained a subject of intense study and debate. Some advocated for their eventual rehabilitation and reintegration into galactic society. Others saw them as too dangerous to ever release, the final decision which shaped the galaxy's future. Admiral Chen stood with Elena on the observation deck of the Concordat headquarters, watching ships from 100 worlds move through the quantum gates that now connected the galaxy. "You know what the Vanguard never understood about humans," he mused. "It wasn't just our adaptability or our creativity. It was our capacity for both conflict and cooperation. We can fight like devils when we need to, but we can also forge bonds that transcend any differences." Elena nodded, remembering the desperate days of resistance and the triumph of liberation. "They engineered us to be perfect servants, but they gave us the tools to be something far more important: perfect allies." The quantum network pulsed with activity as news arrived from the galactic core. Another ancient threat was stirring. But unlike the days of the Vanguard, the galaxy now faced this challenge united. Humanity had shown that the true measure of a civilization wasn't its age or its technology, but its ability to grow, to change, and to work together. As the alert went out and the Concordat fleet prepared for action, Dr. Matthews made one final entry in the quantum archives. The Vanguard spent millions of years trying to create the perfect harvest. Instead, they created something they could never have imagined: a species that would unite the galaxy not through conquest or control, but through understanding and cooperation. They sought to make humanity their greatest crop. Instead, they made us the galaxy's greatest hope. The legacy of humanity's victory over the Vanguard wasn't just their survival or their technological achievements. It was the proof that the most powerful force in the universe wasn't perfect order or overwhelming strength. It was the ability to adapt, to innovate, and to bring diverse peoples together in common cause. The galaxy's harvesters had become its guardians, and the future they protected was brighter than any single species could have created alone.